Yeah, let's do it.
Got it.
Fuck Christmas.
Way. The true meaning of Christmas.
Yes.
Yes. So why did I pick this lovely thing? No one's going to initiate it, so I'll just start it off, I guess. I watched this film, which is Klaus. Klaus is a Netflix original. I saw it when we were in Australia, and I was really impressed with the animation. I was really impressed with the concept. I thought it was reasonably amusing. There were some little bits of humor that, you know, I found a little bit shaky, but overall, I was
Nice.
Excuse me. Yeah, overall, I was flatulent. Overall, I thought this was a very imaginative sort of take on the origins of like kind of the Father Christmas sort of legend. I thought it was really quite charming. And what started off as something that like kind of I teared up a bit at like once is now like a film that I can't get through without like being a big fucking blubbery mess throughout. So, and my face, I can see Pat laughing, but my face genuinely could not stop fucking leaking. And every time I started crying, I was like, oh fuck, this next bit's gonna fucking get me. I can just feel it. I'm going like, he decided to stay. And it's just embarrassing. I'm glad no one was around while I watched it the second time. I'm tearing up right now thinking about it. And yeah, you know me. I'm always like, fuck this film. I hate this film. That don't make sense. Ha, eat a load of shit. Klaus does not do that to me. I can't keep it up. It grabs me by the balls and it just doesn't let go. And it's like, you're gonna cry, motherfucker. So yeah, it's a very special film for me. Why'd you hate it, Pat?
Yeah, Pat.
What?
What?
It's bad.
It was all right. I enjoyed it more on the second showing. I don't know what changed, but it's not a film that I'd voluntarily go back to.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a decent film. It's not a film that I say I'd hate. It was well made, but it's just one of those films that's just not for me. But like I say, in the second viewing, I probably got a little bit more out of it than I did in the first. The first one, it was boring me to tears. But I did watch it on Christmas Day after I had like a shit ton of turkey, so that might have had an effect.
What did you feel you got more out of it the second time?
I don't know. I probably felt more engaged with what was going on the second time. I wouldn't say there was anything major than the first, but then I just probably felt more engaged in the story.
Your original score was like, well, the original score was 4.8, and then you rose it to 5.3. So it's gone up like another 2.5 points there. Must have been something.
Yeah,
7.7.
7.7.
It's good.
I was probably harsh on like the first few categories just because I wasn't enjoying it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had your bit of a hissy fit.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I better watch it again.
Yeah, it's better than Great Showing.
You know, but it's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, so just for context, I saw the score that Pat gave it, and he originally gave it a 4.8, and considering The Greatest Showman received a 6.7 from him, I was deeply unhappy with this, and I hadn't slept very much, and I had quite a lot to drink, and yeah.
And they're two completely different films.
They are two completely different films, but one's fucking garbage.
Really?
And yeah, no, I summoned all my Christmas cheer and I told Pat to go fuck himself.
Wow.
But by that point, I was already asleep. So
you were asleep.
It didn't make a difference.
I eventually slept myself, and then I calmed down, and I was like, that was a bit out of order, actually.
I slept like a baby, got up the next day and watched some football. So
It's cool. It's cool. I'm under no impression that I live in your head rent free. Excuse me.
oh, you don't live in my head at all.
I know.
But yeah, I don't tend to watch like Christmas films again and again, but it's become one of my favorites personally.
Nice.
I really like what it does, how its take on this is like our version of how the legend came to be, how the myth came to be. And they decide to start it with some really selfish, spoiled brat.
Yeah.
Who's freaking annoying, but has really great character development. And in the end, almost died over what he didn't realize at the time were not presents, but were.
I think that's the thing. Oh, sorry.
I was just thinking, imagine if he actually dies. Like, not that he would, but I was just like, imagine. It's like, oh, he died. It was fake. Well, I tried to stop.
This was unfortunate.
Dude, unfortunate events. But yeah, carry on. What did you say, Alec?
Oh, I was just going to say, I did think that his character would kind of be a big obstacle for people, because I remember when I first watched it and I was going like, fucking cunt. And for me, but like remembering it, just working off my memory, I was like, that goes on for like a while, but it's actually like very, very brisk, where like he's being obnoxious, and that's only a couple of scenes, and then he's like thrust into this sort of setting where no one gives a fuck who he is. And he's already on the back foot. But I just love that little montage of him traveling, and he's going like, "Thanks, Dad." Like the wheel comes off of his car. He's like, "Thanks, Dad." And I was, it was just really getting me.
I think another moment I liked was when he started handing out envelopes and letters and stuff like that, as if it was like some kind of illegal trade. Like,
yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
this is it.
I like that. It doesn't like drug dealing, and I think that is the joke.
That was really good. I did like how like the seeds of like planting of how the legend of Christmas becomes about because of his antics and what he does. Like the whole thing, he knows if you've been bad or good. He kind of spreads that rumor himself, and it just goes on through like, you know, like wives' tales and the Chinese whispers. It gets even more extravagant as further it goes on. And I did really like how the little tiny thing spawned so much of the legend of Christmas in a way.
Well, it's doubly funny because the things about Christmas that are so like kind of central to it, like being you have to be good, or you get like a lump of coal, and the naughty list, and that all comes out of it was a kid who like fucked with him too many times, and like and he was like, right, you little asshole, you're getting coal in your stuff.
No.
And like it came from like this really like kind of nasty place, but like it's become something wholesome, I guess. Like I thought that was like a really nice little touch, especially with those of us who work in retail. I think we can appreciate kind of like there's a lot of like kind of selfish, very entitled people people about, and you kind of get a bit disillusioned with it all when you're going like, oh, Christmas is so nice, isn't it? And it's just fucking assholes,
self-centered cunts.
Indeed. So I think it's kind of perfect that this all starts off because of a self-centered cunt. It just makes it a little bit more grounded. I think if it was just people, I think it was just like this heartwarming tale all the way through, like it would be insufferable. But I think I think like Jesper's kind of like the perfect protagonist for this kind of story.
Yeah.
Anybody want to comment on that?
Yeah,
Excellent.
it was good. Yeah,
It's
but
all right.
like I was saying, it's like the whole thing about his arc from the start to the end was so good, because it's like it starts off like he's just the most like annoying and irksome characters at first. You just like, oh, hope he gets like, I don't know, he gets beaten up or drowned in the snow or something stupid like that. But the more it goes on, you realize that, hang on, he knows why he is a bit of a piece of work. But then as the film goes on, he realizes, okay, no, I want to make a difference. I want to prove myself to my father and everyone around me. I want to get out this hole that he's been forced to be in. But then he realizes, look, I'm making a difference. I don't want to leave. And the thing he hoped most for, which was leaving the village, turns out to be like, actually, no, I don't want to leave. I want to stay here because I've found someone who loves me, and I'm surrounded by people that I've made a difference to. And I think that was really that is the spirit of Christmas in a way. It's like he's changed like Scrooge would, like from A to B. Scrooge is the worst kind of person you think of, and then at the end of the film, he's changed entirely through the actions and experiences he's gone through. He's just made him a better person, and he's realized the error of his ways, and he's just become, well, not saint-like, but just he's still flawed, but he still has a lot of love to give, which I really liked.
So I was loving how like he was kind of getting a bit lost in sort of doing good stuff, because like when he's trying to, because like he even starts trying to build the little sled thing for Margot. He doesn't know anything about woodwork, but he's gonna try and do it. And like him and Klaus have just had like a big argument and stuff, but like he is still trying his absolute best to fucking make this thing for her. And it's just kind of like, this is a very different character than we met at the beginning. Because I imagine the guy at the beginning probably wouldn't have given a fuck. But you know, he's grown quite attached to this kid. I think it's really nice.
Or the fact that when he talks to her, he's having a conversation, but he doesn't understand a single word she's saying. It's quite cool.
Well, most of the time he's like kind of looking down on her for it, like, oh, if you want to talk to me, then you need to, you know, be able to write. I need a letter off of you, so you fuck off, go over there. Like, brushes her off quite a lot, and so I think it's quite nice that he eventually, I don't know, she eventually gets through to him, and it's a nice little thing.
Oh yeah, I was like, finally, he stopped to talk. I was like, can you just try and figure out what this little girl is saying? She obviously is like coming for either some toys or this. And when I first saw her, I was like, oh, is she gonna turn out to be like one of Santa's little helpers? Basically was.
In a sense, yeah.
It was the original.
The blueprint of the elves, in a way. That whole clan people.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think one of my favorite things about this is that there's no big villain. There's no big. We don't have to have like an epic like fight with anybody or something. It's literally a like kind of a story about how like a kind action kind of like just like revitalizes this like economy. And it's like, oh, okay, well, if you want toys off Klaus, then you have to learn to write. So we get kids going to see the teacher, and the teacher's like, what the fuck? And then she does teach them to write, and then they start kind of giving people, well, they start giving gifts to people, they start sending letters to people, and it starts kind of making this town like a community. And it's like that. I really love that that's the story of it. Like, it's not, I don't know, it's not like an epic fantasy. There's like a clear villain to this. It's you know, he's making a difference, and I think that just makes it like a lot more of like kind of a believable kind of element, I guess.
Say that again.
I think it just makes it like a nice kind of story where like we're not we're not dealing with like good and evil and stuff.
Yeah.
It's about him kind of making a positive difference, and it's because it came out of selfishness and stuff like that. But like it turns into something like quite overpowering, where it's like, you know, one good deed sparks another, and it transforms like this town where like people were all feuding and stuff for years,
Yeah.
like an actual working community and stuff, and it's
That'd be cool. I think the part that got me, one of the parts that got me, or two of the parts that got me emotional, I didn't cry, but I almost did, was when he's talking about his wife.
That was good, that flashback.
And Camilla, I think she did cry at different points.
yeah.
And when they
I'm
gave
not like
the toy
cry.
to the Sami girl,
Margu.
Margu. Oh yeah, Margu. Yeah. So those two parts, I was like, oh, those were very good moments. Oh, they did very well, and just overall, just how he settled there, and it's just like, it's like, he ain't gonna leave, is he? If he does leave, he's a true douche.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna leave. It's not that type of movie.
You have unlocked the rank of true douche.
True douche of Christmas.
Oh man, exactly.
Nice.
I was like, and he's gonna end up with the teacher.
Yeah, that's telegraphed, but in a way it kind of worked. It just like, well, it makes sense, and it kind of like everyone watching it was like, this is fun. They both deserve each other, and that's why it was just that's really nice to see.
Yeah, it made sense. It worked really well.
I love the trajectory that those characters go on, because like when he arrives, they're both kind of like wanting to get out of there, but they're also both very selfish, and they're too self-centered to kind of see it. And then he has like an interest in her teaching the kids to write, because then it means more letters. But he like he does manipulate her into starting to do it again. He's just like, isn't that why we do it? And it's just like, oh, he's such a bastard.
Yeah.
But then, like by the time we see her near the end, she's kind of going like, you have no idea what you've done, have you? Like you've improved this entire, like you being a selfish prick has like improved this town like exponentially. And it's so but like as they're kind of coming to the point where like it's getting so good, and he's coming to the end of his journey where like he's actually made a difference and he's actually accomplished it, she's going like, you'd have to be pretty stupid to leave here, wouldn't you? And he was like going to leave, but he's like, fuck, she's right. Like I just think it's a nice little arc for both of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone else cried though. I'm not alone in my.
You and
I came close, like Emmanuel, but I didn't
Oh God,
quite
Manuel
cry.
singing. Oh my God.
Sorry, Ben.
Yeah.
Go on mute.
What?
Go, Ben. Sorry,
I just said I came close to crying, but I didn't quite get there. But I think what Rob says, I think it could become a Christmas classic in a few more years. People will discover it and realize actually this film has a lot to say, and it has a lot of charm, and it has everything that a classic Christmas film should have, like Wonderful Life and films, even like films like Elf. It's as stupid as that. It's got even more to it than that one, just because it has the Christmas spirit and nostalgia without being a bit too schmaltzy and too sentimental. It did a really good job of balancing the tone bit. Like I said, I think when Rob did speak, that it did remind us of like late 90s, early 90s Disney, kind of like Emperor's New Groove and Treasure Planet and all those ones. It has that sort of like whip smart humor, but it's still got like this like locked in story that just has a lot of charm and thought behind it, which we all really liked. Even if it doesn't rely on music like some of the old ones, it did a really good job.
Like I was a bit worried about the how the music was going to hold up, because I remember there was some like, cause I remember there was that song from The Heavy, which they always play during NFL halftime thing. But like that was pretty well integrated. But it's the song that gets me is when it's the one that's playing when Margot's dad is like slinging her around on the sled thing, and that was one of the moments that made me go like, oh god, it's so beautiful.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. I'd say that was my criticism though. I know you 100% disagree with it, but I would have liked more like classical
Instrumental
songs in it, just because I think those songs kind of like took me out of it as they were too modern.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. I can see why
Interesting.
you would want like kind of a more instrumental score for it.
Yeah, more like, and maybe it's because I'm just used to 90s Disney, just doing like proper orchestrations that fit the tone of the rest of the score of the film. But this was still good. It was kind of like, I don't know if you've seen the film Abominable. It was a later Universal movie about the Yeti. It is kind of like, it has the same idea of like the Abominable Snowman and like basically King Kong, Mighty Joe Young, like creatures discovered and all that. But it's still a very like grounded story. But the only thing that dates it is the use of songs, and they use Coldplay in the soundtrack. And even though the song is really good, like Fix You by Coldplay is good, and they used an instrumental version of it, it still takes you out of it because it's such a modern song.
Yeah, it's a bit of like a DreamWorks kind of move, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's Coldplay.
And
someone like that would be like, this is the worst thing ever. But Emmanuel was like,
I saw a bit of it the other day because it was on
Right.
not New Year's Day, Christmas Day, or I think it might have been Christmas Day they had it
I
on.
think it was.
And it looked interesting. I'll have to watch it, but yeah, like putting Coldplay in it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a like, it works for like people over the age of, I don't know, the 90s babies would be okay with it, but I don't know. Anyone older than us would find it great. Anyone younger than us, anyone older than us would dislike it, but anyone younger than us would love it. Kind of thing.
yeah, it is something that kind of dates a film, I think, like the choice of soundtrack. But I think it works with this one, and I'm not just saying that because it made me a big leaky mess. There were a lot of things that made me a big. There were four big moments that made me like a big fucking leaky mess, and it's that one where he's singing around on the sled. It's when Klaus is talking about his wife and how they were going to have. Oh no! That's what kind of leads into it. He's talking about how him and his wife couldn't ever have children, but then later on, when he's already built the workshop, they put a bunch of sculptures in like the empty spaces, and I'm just going like, fuck.
You got a family now.
Yeah, Camilla's agreeing with you wholeheartedly.
I'm not. I wasn't okay. There's like a smaller bit at the beginning, and I realised how much of a vice grip it's got on me. It's when the kids are going like, "Can you teach me more?" And Alva kind of goes like, "Fucking hell, these kids actually want to fucking learn something." Like, and she kind of remembers what she kind of got into it for, and that had me fucking crying. And I was like, "For fuck's sake, I can't do it this early." But then the last bit that gets me is when Margot's thinking that Jesper's already gone on the boat and she's chasing after it, and then she sees him on the dock, and I'm like, he chose to stay. And I'm just like, what's wrong with me? Like, I can't.
No.
Oh, stop it. But no, I'm glad I'm not the only lady present.
No,
Thank you, Camilla.
it's emotional.
I mean, I'm not present, but
You're present. Going back to the music.
You're definitely present. You've been on camera.
I'm just in the room.
More present than John.
We're more present than John at this point.
Oh man. Don't choke. Let me hold your tea. Okay. Going back to the it was funny. Going back to the music, I find it an interesting point because I would say the music really worked, but the reason I say the music worked is because I don't remember it. Like I didn't notice it. For me, I didn't even realize, and I don't know, maybe I was just so into the film. It was just complimentary for me. But I didn't even notice, like, I like the heavy. I don't listen to them that much, but I didn't even notice it was a thing from them. And I don't know, I just didn't really notice the music. It was just like any other kind of soundtrack. For me at the time, they had just made music that went along with it, and it went perfectly.
It wasn't too incongruous.
Yeah, that it didn't take me out of it. It really suited it for me. And I thought, personally, it really suited the animation style. The animation was freaking beautiful.
Wasn't it?
Freaking, I was
Freaking.
like, nah, these animators.
Yeah, it was.
It was like Spider-Verse. It's like this 2D, 3D hybrid of an animation, which is so good.
I did.
I was saying to
spend
Humphrey
most-
about the character design, like it's fucking great. Sorry, Hum.
I was going to say I spent pretty much the whole film just staring at like how good it looked.
Because like it seems to have integrated like kind of a CGI sort of element into it, but like it is still
2D.
Yeah, like it's still a two. I don't even know. I probably sound really simplistic at the minute, but like it is like it doesn't look a 3D kind of cartoon without being like a Pixar.
No,
Yeah,
that's what's good about it.
Because what they used to do back in the day with Disney films, they used to paint the backgrounds. So the rest of it would be animated, but the background would be a painting. So you'd have an artist who would have to paint each background for each scene, and then you have an animator who would literally animate over the top of the picture. And I think this film did that, but what it did was it took a painted style. It took like a cartoon style, and then they put realistic lighting over the top of it, and I think that's what made it so. Because I was sitting there analyzing the whole thing, like, how have they got this? And I'm thinking, like, in an artistic way, I'm thinking, what they've done is they've put realistic lighting effects on a cartoon, and that's what.
Actually, that's a good point. That's like adding ray tracing to Roblox. I don't know anyone here if anyone's seen that. Huh?
Even Minecraft, if you put ray tracing.
Oh, that's it. Sorry, not Roblox, Minecraft. Sorry.
Oh, right. You're talking about a game. I had no idea. I thought, what the fuck are you talking about?
But sorry, it's like Minecraft is this really blocky, cartoonish type game.
But it's an 8-bit game, isn't it? It's all, It's 8-bit. So it's like all pixel. It's pixelated.
Exactly, very pixel. And you add this ray tracing, and that realistic lighting transforms the whole look of everything. And so your point about the lighting on this, it makes so much sense. I didn't think about that.
Because there's certain bits where he's indoors and you see the light hit him, and it gives him a shape, but even though he's flat, it's just really, really, really well done. And that's why I give it 10 for production, because it was just so well done.
Things where you had like visual gags in the background and stuff, because you had like the sailor, and he's talking about how people don't send mail because they already know how to get across what they're trying to say to each other. But then in the back you see like a house pointing a cannon at another house and like obliterating it. And it's just a very little thing in the background. I was like, that's lovely.
Oh yeah, that Doc Master, he was having the time of his life. He was just like, oh, this guy is so much entertainment for me. I'm just gonna hang around him and poke fun. I was like, that guy was having lots of fun. He was usually bored. And even though it has nothing to do with this film, for some reason, when he first went to the Doc guy, I thought of Oh, what's the film? I can't even remember the film now. Not the bees.
Oh,
Not
Oh,
the bees.
Wicker Man.
the Wicker Man remake.
Yeah. I thought of when he first came to the dock, and the guy was just like, "Man, I ain't bringing you there."
The bees.
The bees.
But see, I like that character as well. Like his whole job is literally ferrying people from Smearensburg to the mainland, and he's just like, "You don't want to go to Smearensburg," and then like, yeah, Jesper's just someone, and he's just like, I don't know, he just starts being fucking sarky at him, and he's like, "Oh, mate, I haven't had entertainment like this for a fucking while. I'm gonna fuck with you." Like,
Yeah.
I just remembered the character actor actually died last year.
Oh.
It's Norm Macdonald.
That sucks.
Yeah, but sorry, I didn't mean to put a fucking negative spin on that. I really like the character, and I do think like kind of the the way these characters are sort of designed, like they do kind of complement themselves, because like I really like, especially with the sailor, like his chin and his jawline are sort of accentuated because he's kind of doing this like he is designed to look like a fucking like an animated troll. He's kind of, but like he has this really big chin.
Is it?
Really big chin.
Really big chin. Whereas Jesper, I think, there's like kind of, because Jesper's got this really big nose, and I suspect it's because he's like, it's meant to accentuate that like he is like prideful, but he also looks fucking ridiculous. And it's also like a big target. I think that's something that they've worked into the character design, just having this big old something. That's just fine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably help me out with that. Like
Fine.
the character features, like kind of accentuating their personalities. Because like I feel like with Klaus, it's all very, it's kind of a lot more blocky.
Oh, he's big and he's huge. Like compare him to like the rest of the characters, he's probably about 8 foot tall.
Yeah, but what I mean is like kind of Jesper's design is like he's quite smooth. There's like a lot of curves, whereas with Klaus, he's a lot more kind of angular, and I think it's
in the actual film he's very he's distant, so he doesn't actually talk. It's only at the end when he starts actually talking, it's kind of like he's this big kind of block that's kind of imposing, and by him not talking makes him more imposing. And then when he does talk and he says about his family, because even when he uncovers the thing and he gets really angry and he kind of stops talking and then chucks him out. It's that whole because why I didn't really get what I didn't expect with this film was it had kind of a dark, sinister like tone in it as well, like the fact that all the kids look like something out of a Tim Burton film.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids pushing the carrot in the body.
And then the snowman. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those kids that they reminded me of Adam's Family.
They did.
It was just like, I'm just like, okay.
They are fucked.
They've got some issues.
Yeah, I do think somewhere where it kind of falls down a little bit is the humor between the Ellingbo, like the head Ellingbo and the head Crumb. They have like a couple of little jokey bits, which I'm not sure entirely work. Last stuff when she's like, "How have we beaten you? Or how have we struggled with you for this many years when you're this fucking shit?" And it's and it's a shame because it's Jan Cusack as well. So I'm like, oh, but I kind of that's my main thing. I kind of wish like the jokes were a little better in places, but for the most part, when it's all kind of character focused, I'm very much I'm a lot more invested Um,
Yeah.
Someone take the hot potato.
Hot potato, hot potato. Hot potato.
See, that's the stuff where, like, you know, they're kind of doing like kind of the slapsticky bits where they're trying to escape getting crushed, and like the reindeer like kind of go over the roofs and stuff, and the kids are going like, what the fuck? And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
You won't believe what I saw.
I think it's when you put in, when you're kind of putting things together, and you're going like, oh right, okay, that's where that's come from. Also the bits where like they're kind of cutting away and things, like they kind of start off and there's like the street, and Jesper's going down one chimney, and then it cuts and he's in another chimney, and it cuts and he's in another chimney, and then like at the end,
Yeah.
so there's like an explosion, and he's like, and it's like, that's brilliant. Or when he's trying to catch the reindeer, and it's all just kind of like he's just kind of fucking it. He's on like a rope. He's like trying to get towards. I thought that was all very funny.
Yeah, I thought it was done very well. Did everyone say their favorite scenes? I know I've said, you said Alec.
Yeah, do favorites.
Yeah.
Pat, what was your favorite scene?
Oh,
The end credits.
Oh,
shit.
Snap.
Honestly, I don't think I have a scene that I really liked more than the other.
Oh my god.
Thing is, the film didn't even make me remotely emotional.
What?
Like Alex been saying all week, I'm a heartless bastard.
yeah.
It's true.
Oh,
What about the
Yeah.
scene with the little explosion in it? You must have liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't like an explosion. What the fuck's wrong with that?
Fuck.
oh man.
I think my favorite scene though is that little montage when they're talking about one good deed and all that, and it's like all the kids. But all the kids, instead of stealing the lady's berries, they pick them for her, and they leave them, and then she puts them all in a jar, gives them to the mum, and the mum's like, "Yeah, all right, thanks a lot. Here's a fucking cake." Oh no, when she's got no, it's like, here's some fucking jam, and then the lady's like, oh fuck you, and then she makes a cake and she brings it over and she's like, thanks a lot, I love it.
Yeah, that was great.
And it's like,
That's what I meant by sending people jam in the post.
yeah, see, I want cake. But like I kind of love that little thing. It just, I don't know, it seemed really British to me, just going like, fuck you, here you go, there's a gift.
Yeah, I'm gonna
just
tell you up.
Yeah, that's what's brilliant about it.
Because even stuff like kind of the crumb guy, and he makes the slide for the kids and stuff, and he's just like, oh yeah, no problem. And I'm just like, oh, you bastards, stop making me fucking well up. Like, I love all that stuff. So those are probably my favorite scenes. Humphrey, give me a scene.
I don't know.
Oh, for
I can't.
fuck's sake.
You have to come back to me.
Benjamin, give me a scene.
Shut up, Alexa.
The thing with the things.
The thing where they do the thing.
I like that one too. It made me cry. I was like, the things are the things.
I got. It's probably the end. Where
That's what Pat said.
Did he say no? Not the the actual end, not just the credits.
The credits. Yeah.
Like the bit where he says about like where Klaus goes off and they don't see him, and that whole monologue, and then he says, "Oh, this is the when I get to see my friend every year." And then it just it's just like that's a nice ending.
Yeah, that was a great.
That was a fuzzy feeling. That ending where he gets to see his friend again every year because he's Santa. It's just like, you did good. Yeah, I'd say that's probably my favourite bit.
What a lovely answer. It's much better than Pat's.
That end where it fucking finished. And if you sang about The Greatest Showman, it would have been Pat's answer.
I love the fucking credits.
I don't even love the credits because it had the shit music in it. Yeah.
That's a fair answer.
You know, you keep bringing up the Greatest Showman. It wasn't even my film.
Yeah, no, you just contributed to giving it a higher score than it deserved.
Yes, because I enjoyed it. You know, that's how things work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit!
Fuck.
Yeah, I do think, I stand by my statement in terms of the film about the origins of the Father Christmas myth. I think it is far more successful than The Greatest Showman is, being about P.T. Barnum or being about an empowerment thing or about even being a musical. So,
don't get me wrong, I do prefer this to Greatest Showman, but
I'm very fucking glad.
all subjective. Don't get me wrong, I liked it more when I didn't know the crap behind it.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I 100% agree with.
Like when y'all started saying like the stuff behind it, I was just like, what? How does that make any sense? But why didn't he just not have his name in it at all? Just be a random man who.
Yeah, the guy who invented circuses. Why not?
We don't talk about The Greatest Showman again.
Yeah. This is the Greatest Showman review. This is
No. Shut your face.
Yeah, not many people like knew about the start of the circuses and all that kind of stuff. So it didn't really matter. It's not that important. It's just you make a fun film about someone running a circus. Cool. Go more into diversity and stuff. That'd be great. But I was just like, dude, did you really spend all these years wanting to make this about a trash guy? That's questionable.
This is what I'm. If Klaus was, following like the similar template, there wouldn't be any scenes where people are being kind to each other. There wouldn't be any scenes of like one good deed sparking another. They'd say it, but they wouldn't show any of it. And those are the kind of the strongest bits for me because they're taking time to like show characters who who aren't named or anything. They're actually doing stuff. Whereas like the Greatest Showman's like, empowerment. Also, everyone who has been empowered in this song are now all in the wide shots. They have no characters of their own. We don't really want you to look at them too hard because they're really ugly.
He just kept at this random,
excuse me,
not really love triangle kind of thing going on, and didn't need film, but yeah, there you go.
There'd be some kind of person there going like, these presents are really bad, and then you have someone going like, I guess you don't like fun, and
fuck off.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck off.
But Klaus's workshop would be like full of slave labor, and then they'd go, this is wrong, and they'd go, oh, I see you don't like the grins of children, like fuck you. And it's like,
I gotta say, Alec, they were foreigners who didn't speak the same language, and they was working in his shop.
Oh yeah, I guess they would be cheaper, wouldn't they?
Yeah. They did it for free as well.
But
Just saying.
The way they did it was that they actually forced their way into the shop. He's like, who are you? Why are you here? Look.
So, we're gonna help you do this.
Yeah. People just walking up in your house and just like, shh. You're just like, but why are you shh? They just start making stuff. You're just like, okay. I guess I'm just gonna. I don't know what they do while they're here, but okay.
That'd be the other thing they'd do. They'd have like that stuff happening. They'd have Jesper, and he'd just be awful the whole way through. And then they'd go, you know what, Jesper, you're a bit of a fucking cunt. And then he'd go, well, have you thought about this? And then he'd start singing a song, and then he'd run out. and that's the equivalent of the Greatest Showman.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you were actually saying Jesper or Jesper.
That's what he said.
Mark my word. No, sorry. His father calls him Jesper. Klaus calls him Jesper. I just like saying Jesper because it makes me seem multicultural.
No, that's fine. It's because Jesper is how they would say it in the Netherlands or Denmark or whatnot. Because a composer I really like, Jesper Kid. His name's pronounced Jesper Kilo. Yes.
Isn't that so nice though, Floaty?
Interesting.
Yes.
So I didn't even really remember that. Well, where you kept saying, I was just like, oh, wait a sec. Is he actually? Because obviously they do say Y instead of the J. But I didn't remember how that actually says it that way, which makes sense.
J is probably the most pushover letter amongst all like languages, though, because the Spanish say J as H, and it's like Jaime would be Jamie, and so like the J is just the J's just standing there going like I am a J, and they've gone are you a Y, and he's gone yeah fuck it, gone, you're an H aren't you, and he's like yeah I can be an H, whatever.
Yeah, it means different things to different cultures.
J is the sluttiest letter. There we go. Sorry. But yeah, I just say these things to kind of. It's like volleyball. I kind of just keep the ball kind of just bouncing around. Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I wasn't expecting anything, honestly.
Especially because it's on Netflix. You're sort of like, oh, this would be shit. And it's a Netflix original. I guess I'll fucking go and watch something else. But
no, don't get me wrong. I don't that of maybe because I don't actually watch that much anyway. But the few Netflix original things I have watched have been really good. The Witcher, which season 2 is out.
Alec hates that, but Pat likes it.
I didn't even get 3 episodes in. I thought it was shit.
Man, I think you have to. Have you played the game?
I also thought the game was shit because I was like, okay, I'm gonna boot this game up, and then it went, you're gonna go fight a griffin, and I was like, cool, let's go fight a griffin, and then it went, cool, go over there, and I went, all right, and I went over there, and it went, now go over there, and I went, I will. And then I went over there, and it went, go over there, 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 go over there. Now you can get to fight the griffin. And I was like, cool. And I fought the griffin, and it went, great. Now we're going to go fight something else. And I was like, fuck this, actually.
It is a lot of that. I can't lie, it is a lot of that.
You have to be invested in the world and the story. And if it's something that doesn't really appeal to you, it's just one of those things.
It just felt a lot like work.
It is work, but you have to be someone who enjoys that work. Like for me, it's not as much work as something like, I don't know, I'm not going to compare it to Skyrim actually. Let me compare it to like Dark Souls. Dark Souls games is a freaking lot of work. The Witcher, it's a little bit of work. You have to prepare. You have to think about your fights, what you have prepared, do this to do that, and the payoff is good. You're just like, yes, I defeated that by having the right potions and everything. But anyway, point is, sorry, I was getting off topic. I get why you didn't like it. It is not everyone's thing. But yeah, I think there was a Portuguese Netflix original as well, which was really good. I haven't watched many, but a few things I've watched have been really cool. So I kind of go in quite open. There's a few things I want to watch as well, but I'm not going to go through my Netflix to watch list.
That's so.
Netflix original.
No, Tick Tick Boom's not a Netflix original. No, it's just on Netflix. Anyway.
I think it's a Netflix original.
Oh, it is?
I think it might be.
Oh yeah, distributed by Netflix.
I'm not just
They-
agreeing with Camilla because she's, also on my team for crying about Klaus, but like,
I think it was a Netflix limited release, so yeah, they put their money behind it. I think
Nice.
that's why Rob was annoyed he couldn't buy it on DVD because Netflix owns it.
Oh
You can't buy it.
yeah, I get you. So yeah, there's a lot of great stuff that comes out of it.
every now and then they do a good one.
Yeah.
No, I was really impressed with it because I think considering like we saw it on Christmas, and this is kind of the reason that I picked it though, and I was like adamant that I wanted the Christmas pick because I don't generally like Christmas. At least I don't generally like the lead up to Christmas because I've worked in retail for quite a few years now. I'm sort of like I fucking hate it. Fuck all you people who want to fucking slide on Christmas Day, eat shit, and I kind of just get really disillusioned with it, and then it's all kind of like we're gonna hang out and have organized fun.
Organised fun.
Yeah, I get really grumpy about it, and this year it's like you got to try and be fucking happy about it for fucking once. And I was like, all right, fine.
Organised fun.
And this was a lovely. I don't know. It was the first film I thought of because, like, I think, like Rob said, I think a couple more years and it is going to be known as sort of like a Christmas classic.
Yeah.
It's not very Christmassy at all. Like
really Christmassy. What are you talking about?
No, because it only really kind of it builds because it kind of explains, like, it doesn't hit you in the face about, oh, this is about how Christmas come about and this is how Santa Claus become a thing. It's like, oh, this person's gone there and it's like he's a postman, and then wait a minute, why don't we do this? And then it kind of builds up to it being a Christmas film.
Fair enough, yeah.
I do think that is something about it though. I think like kind of the dynamic between Jesper and Klaus, because without Jesper being selfish, Klaus wouldn't have ever integrated into the community because he was being sad in the middle of this big tundra and stuff. But the combination of them both, like, Jesper, like, being selfish kind of motivated him to go and seek Klaus out, and then Klaus built had all these toys to kind of give away and stuff, and then the fact that kind of leads into it, like I just thought that was such like a human story, because by the end of it, Jesper's not even doing it for himself by the like kind of the end of the end of the story. He is kind of sort of realized that it's not about him, and he's done something really good with it, and that enterprising spirit has actually led to something really nice, and like he's kind of learned it's not about him, and it's like that's such a lovely sentiment, I think.
Yeah, I get what Dan was saying as well, and Camilla was agreeing with you as well, Dan. It is a Christmas film, but it's not your traditional, it's Christmas, this, blah, blah, blah. Look how Christmassy, which I'm not like a huge fan of. So I appreciated the kind of the build up, the fact that it happens to end on Christmas Day and it's Christmassy towards the end, but it's just about the characters and the relationships and stuff throughout. And yeah, just
invent something lovely.
All the separate aspects of Christmas, but not like just all in your face at once. It's quite cool.
Nice.
Because I think a lesser film would have made it like about like kind of everyone was already there. But this one's about kind of like quite like flawed individuals and them working together create something. And I think that's really cool. Have we all done favorite bits?
Good.
You said the bit with the things.
Yeah, I'm
Did you
trying to think
expand
of
on
what,
that?
I'm not sure what my favorite bit was.
Did you expand on the bit with the things?
What happened before and after?
Things are the things.
Doesn't even know what the things were.
No, I
Did
think
you even watch the film?
Ah,
the bit where he meets the person that does this. It's the. I think after Klaus is introduced, the film really gets into gear for me. Just because obviously, you know that he is the figure we all come to know, and you will eventually become the figure we know and love. So the lead up to that, and I think the little moments where he's making the bird nests and the bird houses and stuff was like a good segue into him like being the woodcutter that makes the toys. And then the more little flashbacks you get of him making the toys and the flashback with his wife who long died was probably my favorite bit, because you could see how he became the man he is, because he had no idea what to do with his gifts. So he was just like, I'm just doing what I know that she would like and she'd be proud of me for. And then obviously what's his name comes into the picture and he's like, look, you can make this and you can continue making toys instead of just using the ones up that you made for your children, and you can like make brand new ones. I did really like that aspect of it. Otherwise everything would be just in stagnation in a sense. So I thought that was a good like catalyst for him to be like, no, I'm gonna use my gifts. I'm not gonna just make birdhouses anymore. I'm gonna actually make toys again. And I thought that was really a nice moment.
Yeah, that was cool. It was also cool that like all the birds had little bird houses.
Yeah, there's like hundreds of them. Isn't
Yeah, it's like all the little houses.
it?
Like this.
You're so cute. Right. I dare say, if anyone has anyone got anything else they wanna bring up?
No, my food is settled, thanks.
Yeah, please don't puke.
Yeah, we might get demonetized.
I don't think we're making any money anyway, so that's okay.
No.
But yeah, I feel like we've kind of reached a natural sort of conclusion. So if everyone's cool. Anyone else got anything to say?
no. Good.
Ben.
Ben.
That's what I give to you.
Yeah.
No, that's
No,
cool.
the question is, what's next week's film?
Next week's film, Emmanuel. What do you
I
got?
wonder why.
Very funny, Ben.
We're coming into January, so I think as we've made this a tradition. So because last January we started with some creepy, weird film. So
Very dark, depressing film about a murder.
yeah, I think we probably need to keep
In
this
a different
tradition going.
language.
Yeah.
So, Emmanuel, your creepy January pick, please.
Wait, what was it last year?
It was Memories of Murder.
He had no memory of this murder.
Oh yeah, that is a good film. All right, so yeah, you all know this was the girl with the dragon tattoo, the original Swedish one. Now, the whole problem around this is watching it. Fortunately, if you do have an Apple device and you don't already have the DVD, because I forgot to order it for anyone who didn't already have it. Sorry. You can watch the original Swedish on Apple TV. Otherwise, Amazon Prime still only has the English audio. I don't know why. which is weird because quite a few people in that film could actually speak English. To be frankly honest, like quite a few of them actually do English speaking roles, but whatever.
Yeah, because I think I've seen, because one of them was like a villain in a Mission Impossible, wasn't he?
I think so.
I think
And then it's Numi Rapace, and she
Numi
was in
Numi Rapace
Prometheus.
was in the Sherlock films, and then
Yeah.
she was in Prometheus.
Yeah, so it's a weird one. I really don't get it.
Good going, Amazon.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Emmanuel, don't worry. Guess what?
what?
It's still on BBC iPlayer for free. The entire Millennium trilogy,
Really?
the extended edition,
What?
episodes 1 to 6.
So basically, I need Apple or a TV license.
Yes, or you could just like lie and just use BBC iPlayer.
Yeah,
Or you
if
just
you
borrow mine,
use it
whatever.
once, it's gonna be fine. I'll probably do the same thing. It's the problem is
I'll
if
link
you
it now.
BBC iPlayer all the time and then you don't pay for it. That's so. Thank you for posting that. If you can, I'd really recommend watching the BBC iPlayer version. The extended version is the best, personally. After having when I had read the books and then I had watched the film, or I might have done, I can't remember which way, but I watched the extended cut thinking, this is the best, like one of the best film adaptations of a book I've ever watched, personally. Like they just did it so well. It's like, yes, you did good. But anyway, this is still in another language, I guess. It's
Yeah, John might like it.
Is
yeah,
he gonna watch it?
we shall see. It's not hugely, it's not a crazy long one this time.
She said.
What? I want crazy
It's-
long.
Ironically, it's a dark film at winter time. I don't think it's not at Christmas, but it's like around, it's probably around January, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks miserable enough to be January.
I'd also recommend watching the 2 films that come after it as well.
Yeah,
The sequels.
the sequels. Which if you watch it as a 6-part,
Yeah.
if you watch it as a 6-part miniseries, it really adds to it all, definitely.
Fucking hell.
Oh man,
I
I
ain't
mean,
got time.
it's good. Yeah,
I ain't got time for a 6-part miniseries.
Well, tough, Dan, because we're doing Double Bills next year.
I did have a bit of a scare because Pat did say like, oh man, I wasn't prepared for 9 films next week, and I was like, there's fucking 9 of these. Jesus, that's a lot of rape.
yeah, no. Don't spoil anything, Alec, please.
Oh, sure. There's no rape.
But seriously, you won't miss anything if you. I say miss anything. If you don't watch the other 2, it's okay. You don't have to watch the other 2 to get this film.
The first one
more,
is contained story.
Yeah, it's a contained story. It's more if you're interested in the continuation of the main characters, then the rest of the stories are very good. And I read one of the latest books and also watched one of the latest films, which were okay. But anyway, point is, nice, Pat.
He was gonna
Just waiting
sit
for you to
there.
look.
He was sitting there until he was acknowledged, and I would not give it to him.
I just saw it, but nice. Yeah, enjoy, or I hope you enjoy. I would recommend not watching it with your parents or little kids.
Really?
Right, so
I'm going to go around Rick's house and watch it with Jackson.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
traumatizing.
no.
But yeah, and as a kind of final point, I wouldn't bother watching the English remake.
Oh.
Just saying, if you haven't
They only
already,
made one of those, didn't they? They didn't do.
Yeah, technically
there's
only
2 of
the
them.
first one, the
Okay.
first movie.
Yeah,
Because Spider's Web doesn't count because it's an original adaptation.
yeah,
I wasn't fond of that one.
yeah. So the first one, yeah,
The
just
David Fincher
don't
one
bother.
that John thinks is the worst film I've made.
I don't think it's the worst film ever made. I just it just pissed me off so much. But
I
I
mean, The Greatest
detail
Showman
about
exists.
it pisses me off for different reasons. David Fincher knows better, but he did certain things that I'll go into more in the film that just pissed me off. It's like you can't be doing this kind of crap. Just before I hang up, wanted to show you the flat because just moved in.
It's okay. I will stop
Just
the
one
recording.
thing. One thing
Oh.
quickly, Alec. You better not start comparing The Greatest Showman to this film next week.
I might.
Why? They're completely
Well,
different films.
Now I've got an incentive.
Mm.
You can compare any two films. You don't. There's not a barrier stopping you. I can definitely compare how effective one film is at achieving its premise than another.
I mean, but it's not.
Oh, God's sake.
It's not always the best.
It's not always a bet. You can compare any two films. This is ridiculous. Right.
Like
I'm going to stop the
comparing-
recording so that the internet
Comparing the
doesn't
life
see.
of Hitler to the life of a child.
Yeah, you can compare them.
Stop it right there.
Hitler was a child at one point. You can compare them.
No, he was a demon baby.
Compared to 666.
He went to art school.
True
What
story.
was it like for a child having a moustache at such an early age?
Compare it to the Exorcist. Yeah.
I can definitely compare The Greatest Showman to The Exorcist. That's easy.
No, it's the Exorcist, not The Greatest Showman.
I can do it. It's all right.
You
It's fine.
shouldn't do it. You
I
shouldn't.
should do whatever I like. No, I shouldn't. Right. I'm gonna stop the recording so that the internet doesn't see the inside of your flat.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. Fuck you, internet.